Hello, Dr. Nicola Ducharme here. I wanted to talk to you a bit this morning about sleep. And speaking of sleep, if it all looks very pink behind me, it's because I'm literally hiding out in my daughter's bedroom trying to get some quiet space to sneak off and do this video with everybody home and running around and getting ready for work and school and all of that. So I've got a little fairy thing here on my shoulder. I've got some, pink decor going on here. So pink's my favorite color though, I have to say. So anyway, let's talk about sleep, because sleep is something that many people struggle with. And I've had my own struggles with sleep, so I get it. I went through a 3-month period at one point in my life, several years ago now, where I didn't get more than 2 hours of sleep a night. And it was brutal. And you start to understand why sleep is used as a form of torture, sleep deprivation, because it's really, really bad. So I realized that a lot of people struggle in this area, sort of in the general population, but then in the chronic illness population too, with the way that infections and toxicities and these different things influence the central nervous system. Sleep patterns can get really disturbed and even flipped upside down. Like I have patients that are awake all night and then sleep all day, like their circadian rhythms are all just messed up. So I wanted to just give you a couple of things today that I find are some of the biggest causes of sleep disturbance. So some of the things I look for, if someone comes in and says that their sleep is interrupted, they're not falling asleep or not staying asleep, the first thing I think about is their environment. Is there anything in the bedroom that is disturbing them? Screen time. This is where EMFs do come into play. And I do have patients that will sleep better if they shut down all their routers and, turn off all their devices, no phones or no digital alarms in the bedroom. Those kinds of factors can play a big role. So people who are a little bit more EMF sensitive, just doing some remediation of EMF stuff around the house could make a big difference. The other thing that I've found can cause massive sleep disturbance is hormone imbalance. And so it's kind of well known that menopausal women frequently have trouble staying asleep and will be awake at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So looking at, for women, estrogen and progesterone can be really helpful, especially if they're like perimenopausal in their 40s into their 50s or 60s. Progesterone is actually a very calming hormone. So sometimes we use progesterone before bed to help facilitate sleep. And progesterone in a capsule is better for that. The progesterone cream doesn't quite work quickly enough. So that's one of the times that we would use a capsule version of progesterone, is to help a woman get to sleep. Also, adrenal hormones. If one's cortisol is spiking in the middle of the night, that's a major cause of insomnia. And so we can look at the salivary cortisol levels and kind of see what they're doing throughout the day. See if they're low in the morning, see if they're spiking too high at night. And that can be a really helpful way to kind of get a sense, especially when people are waking up with that fight or flight kind of feeling, like they've got adrenaline running around their body. That can be a cortisol response, and so we can assess for that through testing. The other thing I have found to be a good waker-upper in the middle of the night is candida. If you consider, if you have a few glasses of wine, or maybe for some of you even 1 glass of wine, and it interrupts your sleep, because we know that alcohol does get in the way of sleep quality. Well, candida actually produces chemicals that are alcohols. They're in the alcohol's family, chemically speaking. And so if you have a candida overgrowth, then you are having those chemicals being created on an ongoing basis. So that's why addressing candida is so important for sleep quality as well. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. There's natural antifungals. I love a couple of different ones. Biocidin I love. SF722 by Thorne I really love. What else do I see? Citracare is becoming one of my favorites now. There are so many different natural antifungals, and then there is the nystatin and the diflucan and some of the stronger prescription ones. So that's all done on an individual basis, but that can be assessed too through a microbial organic acid test. We'll show the metabolites of candida. So I feel like in trying to assess, get a sense of like what's going on for this individual, there are a few tests that can be run to try and get some clues. And we can actually, with the adrenal test, you can test melatonin as well. So you'll see if your melatonin levels at night are low. The other thing that can cause insomnia or night waking is parasites. People who have parasites tend to report that they do worse around the full moon, that their insomnia will get worse, that they'll just feel worse overall. So again, there's all kinds of natural antiparasitics. I have a good antiparasite formula that I've used a lot. I like Mimosa pudica too. Microbe Formulas makes a great one of that. And then again, you've got all your kind of stronger antiparasitic albendazole and different medications to address parasites. Again, can be tested through a comprehensive stool analysis. Doctors Data has just come out with a really great stool digestion test that kind of copies, it sort of brings together the GI map with their sort of PCR testing with the comprehensive stool analysis and sort of offers the best of both of those. The new test, I haven't seen any results come back yet, but I have run a couple, so I've got a couple out there. And I'm really excited about that because it's about the same price as the regular comprehensive stool analysis. So yeah, I mean, there are just a few things. It's not an exhaustive list. Obviously, you know, there are sleep hygiene considerations of like, you know, not watching TV or not being in front of screens. You want to make sure there's nothing contaminated in your bedroom, like mold in the mattress, or, you know, mold behind the bedroom wall, heaven forbid. But those kinds of things do make a difference. So there's a few things that you can assess in your environment. There's a few things you can assess in your body. Okay, so that's just a few ideas. I'll do another live maybe next week and talk about some of my favorite sleep remedies that can help promote good sleep. But at the end of the day, you know, looking at the underlying cause is the way to go as well. Finally, I wanted to let you guys know that coming up in the middle of March, there is a free sleep summit. Okay, so we're on the subject of sleep. It's Get Your Best Sleep, and it's a summit that brings together a myriad of different experts with different perspectives on the sleep area. And the host is somebody who has had major struggles with sleep herself. And so she found her way out of that. But there are many experts and different kinds of practitioners and different avenues that are presented in the summit. It's going to be awesome, and it will be free for streaming. And so I will put the link for that in the comments. I will also put a link. There is a free ebook if you're interested, that it's sort of like a Get Your Best Sleep, you know, guide. And so I'll put the link for that too, if some of you want to have a read of that. The summit's awesome. They have a bajillion like added gifts, and there's so much value in there, so much interesting information. I can't wait to dive into it too. So I wanted to let you know about that. I'll put the links in the comments, not the comments in the links. And yeah, I would suggest checking it out if you're struggling with sleep. There's got to be some good tidbits in there that can help you. All right, so enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you again very soon.